Will the ground game continue to stay hot as the Flames travel to play at UMass? We'll tell you who had a career night on the road.
Plus, moving stories about Quinton Reese and the relationship he has with his dad. And Lizzie Hamlett opens up about the importance of mental health. Flame Central starts now.
If you're looking for some highlights on the gridiron and on the pitch, along with a couple amazingly produced feature stories on a couple Liberty student athletes, well, then you've come to the right place. Welcome to Flame Central. I'm Emily. Meet my co-pilot, Captain Matt Warner.
I thought I was your life coach, actually, but so much to get to on this week's show. We have to start, of course, with Liberty football. Hugh Freeze has said time and time again, the goal for this season is to become bowl eligible, and the Flames had a chance to get one step closer at UMass.
That's right, but you have to be careful with these matchups, Matt. Like Coach Freeze reminds us all the time, you can't go into it thinking you've already won the game, especially when you're the favorites. One guarantee that seems to be a trend this season, Liberty would continue playing the quarterback shuffle. Is it JV? Is it Hampton? It'll be JV getting the start again in this one, but regardless who it was under center, it was a slow shuffle in the first quarter. But the Flames settled in and put some points on the board in the second. Tight end Mike Bollinger stumbles into the end zone just before the half to give the Flames a 21-10 lead. To the third, the ground game continued to shine as Shedro Lewis probably looked back at Day-Day's 3-touchdown game last week and probably thought, hey, buddy, I can do that too. A career night for him in New England, finding the end zone 3 times for a touchdown hat trick of his own. Let's talk about the defense real quick, though. They never get enough love. Coach Aldridge saying this might be the most complete game of the season for the defense. Colby Singleton getting the interception, but more importantly, look at those dance moves. Fourth quarter, Bennett, 2. It's me, DeMario. He'll get the score for the 39-yard touchdown. And just like that, the Flames pick up their 5th victory and get one step closer to becoming bowl eligible for the 4th straight season. Hey, Coach Freeze, how did you and your team get past such a slow start?
Winning first down and going tempo. That was, the key to us settling down in the second quarter. And then once we won first down in the third quarter, we were really good too. You got to win first down to do it.
Coming in, we knew that they were going to do a whole bunch of different things. They jumped in 4 down, jumped 3 down. They played every single coverage that you can think of. I think once we figured out, okay, this is what they're going to try and do to us, then we settled in and we started executing.
Well, as you heard Emily say, that Liberty defense has played really well this season. And one of the young stars that's emerged has been Quinton Reese, an athletic safety that covers the field with ease. He's a coach's dream, but as you're about to see, he's also a father's hero. Here's more on a special relationship between Quentin and his dad.
Wow. My son has taught me the power of faithfulness, the importance of listening, the importance of family. He loves family. He loves family. Discipline. And to a degree, when I look at him, I see so much of me. I always tell him, you're my hero.
So I grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, kinda outside of Atlanta. I lived with my 2 parents, and I say I had a pretty good childhood.
Growing up, he was very active. He was what I would call a live wire. We would let him go outside, and he would just be out there just running and running and running. He woke up one day and said, Dad, I want to play football. I said, you serious? He said, I want to play football. And so from that point on, put a football in his hand, and he went to work after that.
I just did not like getting hit. So that's when I started to realize either I run fast so I don't get hit, or I deliver the hit. So that kind of formed my love of football.
I love sports, but I knew God had a call on my life, and I accepted my call at the age of 23.
Lay it away.
My dad's a pastor, so I grew up in the church, and it was a thing where if you're in this house, you're going to church on Sunday. It's just what it was.
I know that my God is a provider.
Seeing him on the daily, I wouldn't say not only inspired me, but showed me what I would want to be like when I am older. So I wouldn't say I always listened, but it was a certain age where I'm like, okay, What is he's saying? He's saying something up there. Like the Lord is really trying to speak to me.
I was real careful because I know that he know God, but I really wanted him to really find God and come into his own relationship with God.
I want to say it hit me when I got to college, when I started experiencing, I would say, trials and tribulations, I would say.
To the north end zone, angling to the far.
I want to say right at halftime, but it was just around that time. And I'm running down on kickoff, full speed. And I'm running. I don't know why I tried to open my arms and make the tackle running full speed, but that's what I did. Draw to the sideline. I'm walking and my adrenaline is still going. Once your adrenaline is going, you can tell like you're in the zone, like your eyes are just, you still like really locked in. And I looked down at my arm and it was just, my bicep was kind of scrunched up. At that point, it was like, yeah, you're out for the season. And then it didn't hit me. I got up, walked in the locker room, and I just broke down. My world had kind of just collided, just crashed. That's when I realized everything I put myself was is football. Once you put yourself into football so much, your identity becomes just football, and that never ends well for anybody.
What I did, I kind of backed off a little bit just to see how he was gonna navigate through it. I grew up without a father, and so I used to always tell him, man, you got something I never had. And to be able to come to your games and to be able to see you play ball and do the things that I didn't have opportunity to have a father to do. I got my healing through you, man. And I said, I'm here to push you. And I just told him, hey, every setback is a setup for a comeback.
Going through things and really understanding that, falling back on what I had learned or falling back on what I had always heard, because I'm blessed enough to have that, so why not take advantage of that? He don't really realize that, and I don't tell him that enough, but he really probably instilled a lot of stuff in me that everybody sees on the regular, so. We gotta start having these close games, bro.
You plant a seed, you water the seed, and you see the manifestation of that seed. And so, as a father and as parents, looking at what we've planted and just to see this flower bloom. And I just thank God that I was able to live this long to see that which we've planted bloom. It's like I'm reaping the harvest of it now. And that's a blessing, it's a blessing. My daily prayer is, God, whatever platform you give my kids, I pray that they will represent you in the kingdom and give it all they got. And I see Quentin doing that right now. And if he never ever touched a football another day in his life, I am just so proud he's giving it all he got. And I just thank God for that.
I can't tell you how much of a joy it was getting to know the Reese family during this feature. And, the relationship isn't just between Quentin and his father. His mom is such a strong piece of their family, and his parents come to every single game, traveling all across the country to support their son.
Well, they should be really proud of Quentin. I know with my interactions with him and so many others, the leadership that he shows within the team, the maturity that he shows, they've done a fantastic job of raising him.
I'm happy that he's going to be around for the next couple years.
Doubt.
All right, well, if you haven't been paying attention, the Lady Flames soccer team has been on fire lately. So much so that we had to have Bridie Herman on the Flame Central podcast this week. If you haven't listened to it, be sure to go check that out because it's a great conversation. But for now, let's check out some highlights of their game against Queens. Tie game at half, so Matt, let's just go straight to the second. Didn't take long to get some action here. Meredith King sends it back across to Rachel DeRuby, who's there to put it away. That gives the Lady Flames a 1-0 lead. Then to the 84th minute, Kyla Porter, she'll take the initial shot. Doesn't go, but Grace Spade is there for the rebound, putting the Lady Flames up 2. Another solid defensive effort to record their 9th shutout of the year. Liberty wins it 2-0, continuing its 6-game winning streak and also finishing the regular season unbeaten at home.
All right, men's soccer in desperate search of a W, and they would find it on Tuesday night against VMI. The offense firing on all cylinders. The Flames to score 3 times in the first half. Matrevsky, Clark, Finley all finding the back of the net. They would tack another one on in the second half as well as Liberty pitches a shutout, taking it by the final of 4-0. It was the Flames' 4th shutout of the season, with all of them coming at home. Coming up after the break, Rhett McGibbon joins me for another spicy edition of Warm, Hot, and Fuego.
Plus, field hockey's Lizzie Hamlett opens up about mental health and how Liberty helped in her journey on and off the field.
Challenges, they're nothing new. At Liberty, we know they make you stronger, force you to learn, adapt, to overcome. When your next challenge comes, be ready. Meet it with a degree that propels you forward. We've helped champions like you succeed for 35 years and counting. And now, over 100,000 students are getting stronger every day. At Liberty University, challenges make champions. Let's overcome together.
Does education mean a room with 4 walls, a desk, and a PowerPoint lecture?
Or is it something bigger?
What if it's the people beside you, 1 chair away or 1 ocean away?
What if it's the chance to learn from your mistakes, as well as your victories, and the push to keep going either way? What if it's the freedom to reach for bigger things without missing the little ones in between?
For each of us, education looks a bit different.
Because we're each a bit different.
But at Liberty, we think education might just mean something big enough for all of us. That's Liberty to us.
What will Liberty be to you?
God's calling for your life can be specific, and at Liberty, we're committed to equipping you to pursue that calling. Choose from more than 300 residential programs of study, or design your own major through interdisciplinary studies, and be confident your major is the perfect fit. No matter how specific your calling, you'll find a program of study to match at Liberty University, and become your best as a champion for Christ.
Welcome back to Flame Central. Mental health is such an important topic for us to discuss, but for so long, it never had a place in sports. But today, that couldn't be further from the truth. Athletes at all levels are starting to speak up. Balancing the pressures of being an athlete, managing overwhelming amounts of schoolwork, and also dealing with personal struggles was just a reality for Liberty field hockey player Lizzie Hamlett, until she found healing in a place that was closer than she could have imagined.
Come on, Bex. Nice. Again. Nail it. Yeah.
I got into field hockey through my older sister. She started playing in a rec league, and then the next year, my mom signed me and her up for our first club team, and it was the first sport where I was like, I really like this sport. I had tried soccer and volleyball and softball, and nothing had clicked the same. It was so interesting, and seeing my older sister play, it made me really excited to keep going.
Field hockey would bring the Hamlett sisters to LU, first with Rebecca, then Lizzie a year later. But before Lizzie would ever step foot on the pitch, her sister would make the tough choice to step away from being a D1 athlete, leaving Lizzie to start her freshman year all on her own.
I start in the first game and everything is very high feeling for me. I feel like I'm performing very well for a freshman. I do feel like I have friends on the team, and I feel like I have a secure spot. My second game comes, I score a goal. Again, I'm feeling that same kind of security.
That's another Liberty goal for number 1, Lizzie, Hamlett.
The pressures and demands of being a D1 athlete would begin to take a toll on Lizzie.
I just get over analytical of my own performance. I start making more mistakes and I can't recover from those mistakes. I end up pushing my friends away and pushing away my sister, who is still here at Liberty, because I feel like nobody understands what I'm going through and that I can't complain about how I'm feeling because according to my playing time and my stats, I'm still doing okay. Eventually, the playing time and the stats go down because my mental health is struggling so much, and at this point, I'm still too scared to reach out for help.
I remember being up at Providence and pulling her up to the front of the bus and being like, hey, we really need to start working through some of these things, you know? A lot of frustration or not being able to move past mistakes, so we probably wisened up and thought, hey, let's ask how this kid's doing, you know, outside of the sport of field hockey.
And when they opened that door for me and showed me that they cared for me spiritually and emotionally, that's when I felt comfortable enough to ask them for help.
Help would come in the form of someone that had walked a similar path.
And Nikki Parsley now back-to-back goals here for Northwestern, and what an opportunity that
I think that that's something that allows me to connect with some people in this generation, is struggling with anxiety, struggling, you know, whether it was in college and even professionally at times, of just like, I'm a human, you know, and I think for the kids to be able to see that I have struggles and sometimes they resonate with the girls is huge and allows you to, you know, empathize. And I'm going to support you as best as I can, but at the end of the day, my resources are going to run out because I don't have the expertise of being a psychologist, but I know of someone I can put you in contact with that can help you.
With the support of the coaching staff, Lizzie would begin the process of meeting with Liberty Athletics mental health counselor Neil Binet, a first step towards understanding her inner battles.
She was very guarded at first. She many times told me, I don't want to get into this, but I know I need to. It's almost like a love-hate kind of a situation, right? Where she's coming in and she's like, no, I'm here to do the work, and I'm probably going to be a little bit sad, but I know it's what I need to do. And so she always looks forward to coming to see me because she knows she'll feel better afterwards. You know, she says, I want to take this on. I'm ready to do something that's hard. And that's one of the things I love and appreciate about her, is because she's not going to shy away from a challenge, which I think is probably a characteristic that makes her such a great athlete also. Is if there's something that needs to be done, she's going to do it, regardless of how uncomfortable that is.
Through the ups and downs of her college career, the sessions with her counselor, and a shift in mindset, Lizzie has seen her perspective grow.
Having Neil here as my counselor at Liberty has completely changed my experience as a student athlete. I've been able to have somebody who completely is there to listen with no judgment, no opinion. He's given me a safe place to discover myself and learn more about myself and how to be a better version of myself, both on and off the field. He has helped me to create better relationships with my teammates and with my coaches. It's hard to put into words how much he means to me, because he truly has just shown me how what I think is so negative about myself can be spun and used as a positive. And I just think that without him, I wouldn't have been able to continue being a student athlete. And I'm so thankful that we have him here, honestly. I'm sorry.
While Lizzie is very open about her struggles with mental health, she isn't alone in this battle as an athlete.
I think it's big for Liberty to be committed to having a mental health counselor in the athletic department. There are some very specific pressures and stressors that athletes deal with, different than, say, the general population.
I think student athletes oftentimes feel isolated because they don't think anybody's gonna relate to what they're feeling like. But when you are able to go to a counselor, they open your eyes up to how normal it is for a student athlete to experience performance anxiety or nervousness, and I think having that kind of support that's not from a parent or from a coach, it's just a different level of support. It's not your family, it's not your coach. It's somebody who sees you and sees your brain and knows your science, and it's a different kind of education.
There are still days with struggle and momentary doubts, but the growth that Lizzie has experienced has helped her realize her value to the team, and more importantly, her identity in Christ.
This is the redemptive story, right? God has given us certain talents and gifts to handle any situation and empower us through those giftings, those giftings that he's given us to actually do these things for our good, to show us how we have a purpose and meaning in being part of his plan.
If you would have asked, oh, would you bring Lizzie back for a 5th year, her freshman year? The answer probably would have been no, but last year, when we started having that conversation, it was without a hesitation, what can we do to keep this kid around? And it just truly has been the Lord, and her transformation, what God has done through her life has been incredible, and she's just made huge, impactful changes and has really turned into, somebody that people look to on this team.
We say it all the time, winning isn't the end-all be-all here at Liberty, and you see that within that piece. Liberty providing support for its athletes, not just, hey, we want you to succeed on the field, but we want to make sure that you're becoming everything you can be as a student, as a person, as a Christian, and it's so cool to see Liberty provide those services.
Absolutely, and this is so brave of Lizzie to step up and make a point about how important mental health is, because now if there's younger teammates or other teammates that are struggling with the same issues, she can help guide them.
Yeah, she's a great example,
story.
certainly. All right, well, Lizzie and her field hockey teammates squared off with number 7 Louisville this past weekend. Lady Flames looking to score their second top 10 victory of the season, but they would fall behind quickly. 2 goals in the first 17 minutes of action had Louisville surging in front. And while the Lady Flames would have a few opportunities, including 4 shots on cage, they would fall by the final of 2-0. Liberty will play its final home game of the season on Tuesday, and they have a showdown with Virginia. All right, we welcome in our old buddy, Rhett McGibbon. You know what that means. Time for Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Top player moment from the past week in Liberty athletics. Rhett, do we have a theme this week?
We do.
What is
it was National Dessert Day this week.
Isn't every day National Dessert Day?
It really should be.
All right, let's start with Warm. And are you comparing people to desserts?
I am actually here. So Warm is Maddie Freese, CCSA Diver of the Week. And I thought of those chocolate fondue fountains.
Oh, because the pool, the
exactly.
Fountain, I like it.
Those
are great. I could just stick my head in one of those things.
Really, just,
Yeah, exactly.
I'm totally with you. But there's some of these athletes that you think of their sport and their competition, and it's synonymous with them. And that's, Maddie Freese is that young lady. When I think of Liberty swimming and diving in particular, I think of Maddie Freese. She's just been a staple for so long. There's some athletes, too, when they graduate and move on, you think of, hey, who is the pillar in this area? And I think Maddie Freese is going to be the one that helps build Liberty diving. Not that it's not already great, but it's going to just propel off of her. Again, she had a competition this past week, had a score of 227.70. She won that in the 1-meter dive. She was great, and she just continues to do great things. A great start to the season for her.
Certainly. All right, we go from warm to hot. Who's your athlete and what's your dessert?
Yeah, all right, it's Shedro Lewis. And sometimes, the yardage for him this week wasn't huge, but there's some desserts you don't need a lot of.
Right, they're so rich.
Full. Exactly.
Right.
And I'm thinking of blueberry cheesecake.
I'm thinking of blueberry cheesecake. Now I am.
You really just need like one slice. For Shedro on this one, he took 3 slices on this day. But again, 26 yards on the day, over 9 carries. The average yards per carry wasn't that huge. But when you get 3 touchdowns, you had a catch in there as well. That was great. A great change of pace back for LU. Again, you've got Day. He's just kind of hammered in there, right? Pounding people. He's got that breakaway speed. Shedro does too, but on a given night, you can get him a little shifty, a little wiggle room. He can get in the gaps. That's what he did against UMass.
And how about, not the biggest of back, but showing some power there around the goal line too, which is good to see. All right, finally, Rhett, I'm excited to see who was in Fuego this week.
It's Seth Clark, a goal and 2 assists in a big game for Liberty Soccer. The dessert, sometimes you just have to go to Old Faithful. And I think you and I will agree on this. It's just ice cream. Ice cream in general, you can do so much with it.
I think of it as less of a dessert and more just like a side, almost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, a nightly side on your side table. I'm all for that. Conference playoffs are coming up. Liberty needed a big game. And Seth Clark, the veteran on this team, came away with 2 assists, a beautiful pass there. You see to Everley, who's having a great year on his own, one of the conference leaders in goals. He also found Gabe Finley on a great pass who buried. He scored one with a left-footed strike. they needed a big game. So many ties, so many late leads that were blown. And they really needed to get back in the win column. Seth Clark was a huge part of that with a 4-point night.
Yeah, hopefully getting some momentum as we head down the stretch of the regular season.
Yeah, this is a Liberty soccer team that could really turn
talented.
a corner and do some things in the playoffs.
Yeah, looking forward to it. Rhett, great job as always. Thanks for stopping by. All right, still to come, things get funny when we put the Flames football players on the hot seat, plus some new developments in the Flames Fantasy League. We'll explain when we return.
At the fence, leaping! Wow! The 5, pylon, he's
Hey, welcome back to the show. Emma, I'm not sure if you knew this, but there's actually a lot of jokesters around Liberty's campus. Did you know?
Of course I did. I'm one of them.
Really?
What's a pirate's favorite letter?
I have to think it'd be R.
You thought it'd be R, but it's really the C. You can use that if you want. Now, let's put some football guys on the hot seat to see if they can top that, which is going to be tough, with their best joke.
You want like a dad joke, like a little corny joke? Okay.
It's hard. What did he say for his joke?
What do you call a cow with no legs? Ground beef.
If athletes get athlete's foot, what do elves get? Mistletoes.
Why did a golfer bring 2 pairs of pants? He had a hole in one.
Hey.
What do you call a fish without an eye? Psh. Fish without an eye is psh.
Why did coach go to the bank? To get his quarterback.
Yeah, that was a good one. That was a good one.
Okay, the cow with no legs joke had me rolling. Good. Still trying to figure out the fish without an eye. I thought he meant like literally.
It was pretty deep. Yeah, it was a pretty deep joke. Fish deep. Why? I don't know. Hey, let's take a look at the Flames Fantasy League, shall we? I mentioned on this week's podcast, I'm trying to come back. I've got a strategic plan to do that, and I'm hitting the comeback trail. Take a look at the scores from the week against UMass. Emily had a comfortable lead. Her, Joe Yock, myself, all competing here, but let's just say things are tightening up a bit. Joe Yock, a huge week, 48 points. I did pretty well.
About time, Joe.
Emily struggling this past week, still comfortably in front, but that lead, it's tightening,
but
shrinking at the moment.
Trayshawn Clark is hurt, so I need to put another player in there, right?
I don't know. We'll figure all that out.
Making up the rules as we go.
It's coming down the stretch. It's going to be close. Hey, we're about out of time. As always, go to libertyflamecentral.com to check out any of our stories you may have missed.
Download the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage. For Matt, I'm Emily. We'll see you next time.